what was it, about an hour ago, so I guess everything's calmed down a little bit. I thought it was a bitch move, if I'm honest, because anytime an attack like that is like premeditated.
Just needs a beat down, needs humbling. Instead of eating cheeseburgers, I'm gonna feed him some humble pie.
The era of manufactured bravado and digital insolence has officially collided with the cold, hard reality of consequence, and for Logan Paul, the impact is nothing short of catastrophic. We are witnessing the systematic dismantling of an ego that grew too large for its own good, a public dressing down that has transcended the realm of sports entertainment and entered the severe arena of legal accountability. This is no longer about likes, shares, or trending topics. This is about the complete and utter humiliation of a content creator who foolishly convinced himself he could swim with sharks without getting bitten. Anthony Joshua has decided that the time for games is over. The patience of a heavyweight champion is not infinite, and by crossing a line that should never have been approached, Logan Paul has triggered a response that is as brutal as it is necessary. The decision by Anthony Joshua to file a lawsuit is not merely a legal maneuver. It is a declaration of war against the culture of disrespect that the Paul brothers have cultivated. Eddie Hearn has confirmed that the gloves are off, and this isn't the metaphorical removing of gloves for a bare-knuckle brawl, but a stripping away of the safety nets that have protected these internet celebrities for too long. For years, they have operated in a gray area where empty threats and chaotic antics were currency, but that currency holds no value in a court of law. Joshua's move is a masterclass in power dynamics, shifting the battlefield from the internet, where Logan controls the narrative, to the courtroom, where facts, statutes, and tangible damages reign supreme. It is a sobering, icy splash of water on the fevered dream of the influencer boxing sphere. The message is crystal clear. Messing with a man of Joshua's stature outside the ring carries penalties that cannot be laughed off or edited out of a vlog. This is a show of force that is meant to cripple the arrogance that fueled the initial stunt. What makes this situation particularly pathetic is the timing and the nature of the provocation. Following Jake Paul's crushing defeat, a moment that should have served as a humbling lesson for the entire clan, Logan didn't retreat or reflect. Instead, he lashed out like a desperate loose cannon, storming Anthony Joshua in an attack that was as shocking as it was ill-advised. It was a display of pure, unadulterated audacity, a reckless spectacle born of bad judgment and a bruised ego. The boxing world watched in collective disbelief, not because they were intimidated, but because they were witnessing a man step so far out of his lane that he fell off the cliff entirely. This wasn't a calculated promotional move. It was the flailing of a drowning man trying to drag a titan down with him. The fallout has been explosive, leaving fans and seasoned fighters alike stunned by the sheer madness of it all. As Eddie Hearn ruthlessly pointed out, everybody knows Logan is not a real boxer. There are levels to this game, tiers of combat that require a lifetime of dedication to ascend, and Logan was caught masquerading in a realm where he was woefully out of his depth. The consensus among the sport's elite is damning. This was a shameless, premeditated stunt that backfired in the most spectacular fashion imaginable, resulting in the official humiliation of both Paul brothers. They have been exposed as clowns pretending to play in a league they will never belong to. The audacity to attack a figure like Joshua while the shadow of Jake's crushing loss still loomed over them is a testament to their delusion. The boxing world is currently watching them crash and burn in real time, a slow-motion disaster that is as cringeworthy as it is satisfying for the purists. Carl Froch, a man who never minces words, did not hold back in his assessment, labeling the entire ordeal a clownish stunt and a complete farce. When a legend of the sport dismisses your actions as a desperate attempt to appear relevant, it signifies the death knell of your credibility. Froch sees right through the smoke and mirrors. He sees a pretender exposing himself, a man willing to turn himself into a laughingstock just to keep the cameras rolling. It is a chaotic mess of ego and incompetence, a joke shop of a career path that has finally hit a dead end. Johnny Nelson's critique strikes even deeper, stripping away any illusion that this was a smart business move. He slams Logan mercilessly, noting that this stunt added absolutely nothing to his career, his bank account, or his boxing credibility. In fact, it did the opposite. It shredded whatever vestige of respect he might have clawed together. Experts suggest that without a real challenge in front of him, Logan has simply exposed himself as a jester dancing in the court of kings. The humiliation is total. Both he and Jake are now viewed through a lens of pity and disdain, their reputations in tatters while the boxing fraternity watches in disbelief. Nelson points out that for development, you need a test, a real challenge. Logan didn't want a test. He wanted a moment, and that moment has cost him everything. The chaotic arrogance of the Paul brothers has been their undoing. With Jake nursing a broken jaw and Logan facing a legal nightmare, their image has shifted from disruptors to amateurs who simply cannot handle the big leagues. The sheer incompetence on display is what truly stuns the insiders. Adam Smith highlighted the absurdity of the situation, noting that nobody with any sense expects these guys to win against legitimate threats. The belief in their own hype is a solitary confinement. Even their inner circles must secretly doubt the madness. Smith notes that anyone betting on them is purely gambling, ignoring the reality of the sport. The Paul brothers have spent years blurring the lines of boxing decorum, turning a noble sport into a spectacle of confusion and secondhand embarrassment. But this time, the blur has cleared, and what is left is a sharp, high-definition image of failure. Every misstep, every reckless stunt, every slap at a weigh-in doesn't build hype anymore. It just shreds their credibility further. Fans are no longer entertained. They are scratching their heads, wondering how deep the delusion goes. The gray area they used to hide behind has evaporated. The thin veil over their blatant incompetence and overblown egos has been ripped away, making the entire fiasco both laughable and shocking. Johnny Nelson's observation about the massive gamble highlights the fatal flaw in Logan's strategy. Provoking Anthony Joshua is not like provoking another YouTuber or a retired wrestler. You are poking a bear that has spent its life mauling other bears. The consequences are brutal and immediate. With Jake already humiliated and battered, Logan's attack feels like sheer desperation, a frantic attempt to reclaim lost dignity that only resulted in digging the hole deeper. Insiders warned that emotionally baiting Joshua was a catastrophic miscalculation. We have seen what a focused, nice AJ can do. He knocks people out. But a nasty, provoked AJ? That is a nightmare scenario that Logan walked into with his eyes wide shut. The antics of the Paul brothers now read like a tragic comedy, a script full of risk, overconfidence, and inevitable public shame. Every step they take reinforces the perception that they are drowning, their actions more embarrassing than strategic. The visual evidence of their failure is undeniable. Counter-punch boxing laid it bare. Jake Paul's face told the story of complete devastation. Bloodied, battered, and humiliated, he looked every bit the underprepared novice stepping into a professional ring. That image, his nose split, his face swollen, the look of confusion in his eyes, is the enduring legacy of their experiment. It is a testament to the dominance of real fighters and the catastrophic judgment of the Pauls. In the aftermath, their reputation is defined not by victories or skill, but by injuries and failed theatrics. The spectacle they intended for clout became a masterclass in public humiliation. They have become cautionary tales in boxing history, footnotes that read, "This is what happens when arrogance meets reality." Spencer Oliver didn't hesitate to call Logan an absolute joke. Trying to face a world-class fighter, or even pretending to, exposed a total lack of skill, preparation, and fundamental respect for the sport. Both brothers have become symbols of overconfidence meeting its inevitable end. Insiders and fans alike are cringing. The stunts, the injuries, the public miscalculations, it has all coalesced into a singular narrative of failure. They are the laughingstock of boxing circles, proving once and for all that clout chasing in the ring backfires brutally when the bell rings. The weight concept broke down the escalation, noting how minor shoving turned into a farce because of Logan's recklessness. The slap at the face-off, which might have seemed like good drama in the boardroom, looked childish and weak in reality. Security intervened, but the damage to their credibility was already done. They looked like petulant children throwing toys out of the pram, while the real fighters looked on with bemusement.